This is Caribbean News Desk. I'm Dennis Chabrol. First, the headlines. An Organization of American States Observer Mission points to several deficiencies in Dominica's electoral system. A Guyanese affiliate of Transparency International says it is making gradual progress in creating more openness. And the Caricom backs Cuba's full participation in next year's Summit of the Americas. Details coming up.
We are one Caribbean, one people, one nation. Same destiny, so separated we are. As one, let's come together. One market economy. Caribbean is how it should be. Let's support Caricom for Caribbean unity. It takes you, it takes me. For Caribbean unity.
I, Roosevelt Skerritt,
do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Prime Minister.
Do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Prime Minister.
Without fear or favor.
Without fear or favor.
Affection or ill will.
Affection or ill will.
And that in the execution of the functions of the office.
And that in the execution of the functions of that office.
I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
I will honor and uphold and preserve the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt Tuesday afternoon taking the oath of office as Prime Minister before President Charles Sovereign after Monday's general election. Entering his third straight term and fourth for his Dominica Labour Party, Skerritt pledged to govern with grace, dignity and respect, while the Organization of American States, or OAS, Observer Mission said that the election was carried out successfully and that Dominicans voted in an orderly and respectful manner. The mission noted that there were still some old deficiencies. The OAS has again recommended sweeping changes to Dominica's elections machinery in the wake of concerns about the integrity of Monday's poll that saw the incumbent party winning again. The Observer Mission wants a fresh registration to be conducted in light of concerns that the voters' list appears to be padded. According to critics, they say that the voters list contains 72,484 registered voters compared to a total population of 71,293. Heading the Observer Mission is OAS Secretary for Multidimensional Security, Adam Blackwell.
This is a repeat recommendation from 2009, so we once again recommend that the voter registry be reviewed and updated according to the provisions established by the electoral laws, ensuring that the electors on the lists are only those eligible to vote. There is a consensus across party lines and Dominican society that a voter identification system should be implemented, but insufficient action has been taken on this issue. The mission reiterates the recommendation of 2009 Observation Mission on the introduction of voter identification cards. The OAS mission further recommends that electoral authorities issue identification cards before the next general election process.
In its preliminary report, the Observer Mission referred to the alleged return of overseas-based Dominicans to vote in the election and the alleged use of state resources in electioneering.
During the electoral campaign, the OAS delegation heard allegations of travel assistance being provided to Dominicans living abroad to return to vote for particular parties. While the mission cannot verify these allegations, it encourages the political actors presenting these claims to provide documentary evidence to the appropriate authorities for further investigation. All actors with whom the mission met indicated that campaigns have become increasingly expensive. Claims were also received regarding the potential use of state resources for electoral campaigns, leading to suggestions of an uneven playing field among political contenders. The OAS Electoral Observation Mission takes note that Dominica does not have campaign financing laws and reiterates the need to consider legislation on political campaign financing. This will represent a significant step to ensuring equity and transparency in the electoral process.
Opposition leader Lennox Linton, whose United Workers' Party clinched 6 of the 21 seats, charged that the election was tainted by irregularities that can repeat themselves at the next general election due in 2019.
This election is the result of a process that we are all aware was tainted. It was tainted with behaviors that really have no place in our democracy. So when we wake up tomorrow morning, the question is this new mandate that Mr. Skirt has been given going to allow him to give the people what the people need, which is free and fair elections? Or is it going to be that we're going to wait another 5 years and then he'll repeat the same procedure again, because that is part of the way, that is how you win elections in Dominica. So let's make no mistake about it. An election has come and gone, but that election has come and gone, leaving us with issues to resolve.
Referring to the loss of 3 additional seats, Prime Minister Skerrit observed that the opposition is much stronger now.
Unfortunately, some of our dear candidates were not elected this time for some reason. You have my sympathy and my ongoing support. And I am sure that you will continue to serve Dominica in some noble capacity. By the same token, I wish to congratulate Mr. Lennox Linton, the political leader of the United Workers' Party, on his election to Parliament, and also the other new opposition members. In this new term, numerically speaking, there will be a stronger opposition in Parliament. I accept the will and verdict of the people.
We want a future that is corruption-free. We want a future that is corruption-free. We want a future.
Activists of Transparency Institute of Guyana, TIGI, on Tuesday, International Anti-Corruption Day, marching through the streets of Guyana's capital, Georgetown, to pressure government to address corruption. The theme of this year's United Nations designated day is Breaking the Corruption Chain. The global anti-corruption watchdog Transparency International has ranked Guyana the lowest in the Caribbean as far as perceived corruption is concerned. The Guyana government has consistently attacked Transparency International and its local affiliate for low marks awarded and the formula used to calculate the Corruption Perception Index. They say by listening mostly to anti-government persons. Director of the Transparency Institute of Guyana, Inc., Gino Prasad, told the Caribbean News Desk that efforts to ensure greater openness and accountability are paying off slowly.
It might not have been 100 steps forward, but certainly the bringing into operation of the Freedom of Information legislation or access to information legislation is a forward step. Of course, you know that we have had severe challenges with the operationalization of that. We had written to the Office of Commissioner of Information requesting information, and which was in fact refused. So I think those are some of the challenges that remain despite legislative enactment of some things. The workability of some of these commissions and offices, statutory bodies, etc. A lot of work will have to be done to really get those bodies to fulfill their statutory mandate. And that requires work from every Guyanese, not Transparency Guyana only.
Meanwhile, as we hear in this report from the United Nations Radio's Derek Mabata, the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon is calling on people around the world to join hands in fighting corruption to improve their standards of living.
People around the world are being urged by the UN Secretary-General to help end corruption and to come together for global fairness and equity. In his message on the International Anti-Corruption Day, observed on the 9th of December, Ban Ki-moon says the world and its people can no longer afford nor tolerate corruption. Mr. Ban says that corruption is a global phenomenon that strikes hardest at the poor, hinders inclusive economic growth, and robs essential services of badly needed funds. From cradle to grave, millions are touched by corruption's shadow, the Secretary-General adds. He once again calls on people everywhere to get involved in the Breaking the Corruption Chain campaign, spearheaded by the UN Development Program and the UN Office on Drugs and Crime. The Secretary-General points out that next year the world will agree on a new post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. He says the aim is to empower individuals and catalyze governments, the private sector and civil society to help lift millions out of poverty, protect the planet, and achieve shared prosperity and dignity for all. Mr. Ban stresses that eliminating corruption and its harmful impacts will be crucial to the international community's future well-being. Derek Mbata, United Nations.
St. Lucia has exported a record 5,000 tons of bananas to the United Kingdom in 2014. The Ministry of Agriculture says that the growth in exports of the fruit was made possible largely by continuing government support to battle disease, provision of fertilizers, and active cooperation between agriculture officers and the island's remaining banana farmers. The figure reflects growers' success in overcoming an outbreak of black sigatoka disease, the damage done in 2010 by Hurricane Tomas, and the flooding of Christmas Eve 2013. St. Lucia's banana-growing Windward Island neighbors Grenada, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines haven't been able to produce enough export continuously, according to experts. In 2013, 28.8% of St. Lucia's exports were related to agriculture, according to data from the World Trade Organization. St. Lucia's principal export markets are the United States, Trinidad and Tobago, the European Union, Barbados, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The 15-nation Caribbean community, or Caricom, is backing moves to have Cuba attend the 6th Summit of the Americas. In the past, the United States has strenuously objected to that communist-ruled island participating in the summit because of the absence of multi-party democracy and human rights abuses. This time around, Panama has invited Cuba to participate in the summit to be held next April, a move that Caricom leaders endorsed on Monday during their summit with Cuban President Raul Castro. They say in a communique that they want Cuba to attend the Summit of the Americas on an equal footing of sovereignty and without any conditions, which coincides with a position of solidarity expressed in different fora throughout the region. The U.S. State Department has said that it was not so much worried about who attends the summit, but about what will be on the agenda.
We are 15 states with a common goal, a unified purpose to face the world, enriching lives, empowering people, creating a strong economic region. No matter where you're from, no hassle, just freedom. Whether business, school, or pleasure, we will benefit together. The Caricom single market, good for you and me. The Caricom single market, good for you and me. Caricom single market, good for you and me, oh yeah!
And that's it for this edition of Caribbean News Desk. Don't forget to visit our website at caribnewsdesk.com. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Carib News Desk. Follow us too on Twitter at twitter.com/Demwaves. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dennis Chabrol.